The 2019-2020 season is now well underway for the Premier League in the UK. We're currently on an international break. Some people don't like the international break. Personally, I think it's a bit of a time to have a look at the old data on the laptop, maybe have a sit back, maybe even have a nice brew, and just take in what's happening, and also having a look at some of the long-term markets as well, such as who's going to win the Premier League, who's going to get relegated. So those sorts of markets you can look at as well. And some of the stuff I'm going to show you in this video will basically take on those sort of things. I'm going to show you some charts, going to show you some bar charts, going to show you some scatter graphs, which I believe at this moment in time, in any season, i.e. early September, will give you a bit of an advantage when trading in football matches. You've got to give form time to form. So at the moment, I would say I'm not looking at teams individually, I'm looking at the games and what is actually happening in those games. If you like what you see, please subscribe, but watch on. Thanks for watching.
This chart here is showing the teams that are scoring first in the game and how many times they are doing it. This will help you if you like to trade using the lay the draw and then back the draw when the first goal is scored. If you do this regularly, you will probably know that what you actually want to happen is for the favourites to score first. If the favourites don't score first, then the odds may not go in your favour and it becomes a bit more difficult. Well, not more difficult, but you'll probably have to trade out for a loss. Here I've highlighted what we would consider to be the big six teams. You can see that Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea and Man U are there or thereabouts, especially Liverpool and Man City. 100% of their games they've scored first. So if you did lay the draw, and then back it, you would have made profit, and it certainly would have happened more often than not. The thing to look at as well is Spurs not really had the best of starts. Only 25% of their games have they scored first in. So really at the moment I wouldn't be touching them if I was trading on the lay the draw then back after the first goal. So again, mathematical analysis is giving you that little bit of an edge. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, when is it when these goals are scored? Well, if we look at the data that I've collected for this about the time of the goal and percentage of goals, you can see along the x-axis at the bottom I've got the time of the goal in 10-minute blocks, and then up the side percentage of the amount of goals that have been scored so far at this time. This is for all of the games. You'll see why that's relevant in a minute, but certainly you can see that the 31 to 40 minutes, we don't seem to be scoring many there, and the 90 plus, not many goals going in there. That is a shorter amount of time than 10 minutes, but sometimes the deterioration of the odds would be the same amount in the 81 to 90 minutes as it is in the 90 plus minutes. But certainly here the 31 to 40 minutes is something that sticks out there for me, especially if I'm trading the over under 2.5 goals. If a game hadn't had any goals and we reached half an hour, there may be a trade of under 2.5 goals. You could do something there. So do what you want with this sort of data. Have a look at it. It's there for you to use. But interestingly, there's been quite a few goals going in at the start of the games and then deteriorating towards half time, and then we're getting a couple going in at half time, and then we're getting it going up again. The most common being 71 to 80 minutes. I did say that looking at different types of games is important when analysing data. Here it's the games now without what we would consider to be the big six, when two teams play each other that don't involve Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Man U or Liverpool. It's different. You can see again the 31 to 40 is low, but the 51 to 60 is low as well, and the half time doesn't really seem to be as much of an influence as what it did before. So it's important to split your data with the type of game that you're looking at. So these two bar charts that I've just shown you hopefully will help you with your trading when you are trading the under over 2.5 goals. That's the intention that I have of showing you this data anyway. Right, this graph here, two sets of data that go into this graph. You've got the XG, the expected goals, which is the blue, and then the actual goals, which is the orange. Now, the graph is skewed, and it's skewed towards the left. What I'm looking at here is the difference between expected goals and the actual amount of goals scored. So you can see here that Liverpool have got the biggest gap between the two. I'm just showing you on the cursor there. So that indicates that they're actually playing very well. They are playing above expectation, and considering that gap quite a bit above expectation. Man City second, Leicester City. There's a lot of pundits saying that they're doing well. This is the sort of data that they're looking at to actually back up what they're saying. Spurs and Arsenal there, but Chelsea way back down in this place just here. The teams that are more successful in this statistical analysis are skewed towards this side, whereas the teams that are less successful are skewed towards this side. Now, I did say that long-term markets are sometimes worth looking at. Watford, not particularly doing too well at the moment, and you'll see on the next graph as well that there's still a little bit of worry there, and I actually did back them to be relegated in the hope that the market would move in my favour. It did. Then they got the new manager, so I came out of the market then for a small profit. That's the sort of opportunities that you're looking for. Okay, this is the last graph I'm going to show you, and this is a lot to do with how well a team is doing at this present moment in time. I like to transfer the sort of data that you see here in front of you into the long-term markets, the season-long markets, like the who is going to win the Premier League, who's going to get relegated, etc., etc. Looking at this, you can see the home difference is the x-axis, so this axis along the middle. Remember, x is the horizontal and y is y to the sky. That's how I always remembered it when I was at school with maths, y to the sky. So it's the y-axis that's always going up and down. Along the x-axis, if you are on this side of the graph, then that means that you have got a positive performance at home. It basically means that you are scoring more goals than what you are expected. On this side, you're scoring less. And then the away is split top and bottom. If you're above the line, you're scoring more goals away from home than expected. And if you're below, the less. So really, you are wanting to be in this quadrant here. Okay. The interesting thing here is the start that Liverpool have had. They are way out in front. And in terms of the season-long market, they're actually trading, the last time I looked, they were trading at about 3.9, whereas Manchester City were on for about 1.8. Now, that's worth looking at over the next couple of weeks. Liverpool have got a big crunch game against Chelsea coming up, and if they win that, I'm pretty sure their season-long odds on winning the Premiership will go down. So maybe there's a trading opportunity there. Take what you want from this graph. I think that there's looking at it, there's no clashes. Like all the teams are quite clear. Watford, yeah. this is why I looked at Watford in terms of the relegation market, doing not particularly well. West Ham, they're there, but they're doing all right. They won a couple of games, so really, if they can get firing, I'm pretty sure they won't be there for very long. Okay, so as I said, take from this from what you will, but this is the situation at the moment.
Okay, so there's my analysis so far of the first few weeks of the Premier League. I think it's obvious that Man City, Liverpool have had a really strong start and are beginning to pull away and have done really, really well. It's going to be interesting to see the markets for the season long, who's going to win the Premier League over the next few weeks. As I commented in the video, Liverpool have got a crunch game against Chelsea, and I think that really could begin to sway the market depending on the outcome of that game. If you like what you've seen, please subscribe. If there's any questions that you want, please comment on the link below. But that's me done for this first video of August and a little bit of September. It's like the first day of September. Hope you can use this analysis in your sports trading, and just happy trading, and hopefully you'll get situations that happen more often than not and put you into profit.